Are they practical? Yeah, I guess they are practical. Are they necessarily easy to use? I don't think so. I don't think they're any easier than anything else on the market. I'm talking about sponge filters. They've been around since the turn of time, but they have their drawbacks, and I absolutely hate them. Like, loathe them. I think they're ugly. I think they're a waste of money. And ultimately, when I walk into a fish room, I don't want to hear what you just heard. Ever. I want to be able to relax, hear the water maybe trickle a little bit, but I don't want to hear a hum from the air pump that you need to buy, from the hose that you need to get, and then you got to get the sponge filter, and then you have to make sure that you place it so you don't see that ugly thing. Now, before you attack me in the comments, I completely understand where you're coming from in terms of if you have 500 5 to 10 gallon tanks and well, maybe you're breeding shrimp or smaller fish that you're trying to raise, and that is practical. And it's not a place of sanctuary. But I'm talking about the person who places their aquarium in their living room, in their bedroom, and they have to listen to a brrrr, man, my fish is looking fresh. $30 to $40 that they spent thinking they saved money. All right, I digress. Let's talk about some things that I believe are misconceptions, some things that are positives for the sponge filter, and an alternative that will blow your mind. So is the sponge filter really economical? Is it cheap to purchase a sponge filter over something else? Well, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. I would say no, it's not worth it to me, because let's say I buy a sponge filter. What's the average price? $10 for an average sponge filter after taxes, and then you gotta buy airline hose, and then you've gotta buy an air pump. So I'm already in probably around $35 to $40 for what? An ugly sponge that sits in my aquarium and detracts from all of the beauty that I created. Right off the bat, I can think of one replacement for the sponge filter, and that would be a box filter. 100% would handle a box filter over a sponge filter. It looks very similar in terms of shape. It still pushes air through the top if you need your oxygenation. And well, you can actually put chemical filtration inside a box filter. You can interchange it, you can put filter floss. You don't just have this inside your aquarium. Jay, I don't need chemical filtration because I am the best fish keeper. Yeah, that may be so, but I also like to have a little bit of flexibility every now and then, especially if that's your main source of filtration. Now, if you're somebody that's jumped into the comments and like I said, you have 555 small aquariums, then I completely get it. This is for folks that have 1 or 2 aquariums and they're tired of the noise, they're tired of the ugliness, and I should probably start talking about my feelings and start talking maybe about some positives of them. So while I'm kneeling here, I've got the sun in my eyes. Let me turn this. Whew, there we go. So what are some positives? Well, it is a very great form of biological and mechanical filtration. And it's potentially inexpensive if you already have a lot of the stuff. So really, it's just like any other filter. It just seems to be an illusion that you're saving so much money right off the rip. Now, these are personal feelings of mine, because if you go all the way back in videos, which I highly recommend you do not, you'll see that I had 1 or 2 sponge filters because I was seeding my aquarium seeding my filtration, which were the sponges, for the next aquarium. You can still do that with other aquarium filters. So what's the allure? I mean, heck, in this aquarium, it's a holding tank for some Congo tetras, and I've got this Shark Pro from Seche, which, disclosure, I do work for Seche, but I don't hear anything. Fancy. So look, at the end of the day, if you want to spend 40 bucks on a setup for something as hideous and ridiculous as a sponge filter, I get it. That's why the fish keeping hobby is so diverse, is because there's so many different ways to do a singular thing. But don't complain when you hear the sound, when you've got to take it out of the aquarium and it's dripping everywhere and you got buckets all over the place. Or, like I said, you can get this alternative. The Shark Pro, it's 55 bucks, 5-year warranty. Everything's magnetic driven, you got your oxygen, nothing's gonna get sucked through the grates, and you have the ability to add Mechanical, chemical, and biological because, well, you have your sponges built in. How awesome is that? Well, let me know in the comments. Sponges are for you? If so, I'm very sorry. It's, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Hope you enjoyed the content. Stay tuned for more. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok. I don't know, there's all these different ones, but you know what's next. Holla!